What is up, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Beers and. Today, we're going to be talking about
beers and hangovers. Sad. I've got us coming in real hot today.
Did I scare you coming in?
A little bit. I like how you self-censored.
I censored, yeah.
Censored.
You know, we gotta be good for the brand. PC on the social medias.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Is that on brand for folks that usually consume beer all the time?
I don't really know.
I don't know either.
That's false. I know our demographic.
I was just going to say, I feel like that's antithetical to everything we represent.
How is everyone doing today? And welcome into another episode. We are going to be talking about hangovers today.
Yeah, right?
Something we're all too familiar with.
All too familiar with.
Yeah, but, we keep going back for more.
Of course. Yeah, like a moth to a flame.
Like a moth to a flame, indeed. We are drinking a Dekker IPA today. Never had a Dekker IPA on the show before.
Me neither.
This is a monumental moment for Beers and.
Monumental moment for Beers and today. Hey.
And so.
If you guys get the chance at all, please go ahead and make sure you follow us over on Instagram at Beers and Podcast, on Twitter at Beers and One, emails at beersandpodcast@gmail.com, and on TikTok at Beers and if you're watching this, you're already on YouTube. But if you're listening to this and you're in a safe location, Beers and Podcast as well.
Over on the YouTube. Yes. Come see us. Come see how enthused we are about drinking this fantastic beer.
Let me tell you.
Welcome to the gun show today.
Yeah, right? And it's
You're
so
not
funny.
Dressed for weather.
This is so funny because the second that I did walk in, and now that Christina has pointed it out, I knew putting this sweater on today.
Yeah.
Mind you, the first week of May, I was like, this isn't gonna be my day.
So it's a cold, dreary day in New Jersey. Lots of rain, lots of wind. Lots of wind. Nick almost got blown away on his way here.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was a rough. Never underestimate when there is a sign before a bridge that says bridge experiences crosswinds, because driving over the Driscoll,
I'm sure,
is still very scary when you've got gusts up to 60 miles per hour.
It's honestly it's really creepy when you think you have control of the car and that big strong wind comes through.
Oh,
and all
yeah,
of a sudden
and you see everybody.
You get the little jostle around. Yep.
Oh, it was rough. Yeah. I also want to point out simultaneously that modern cars, okay, folks, they've got pretty good braking systems. We don't need to be driving 25 miles per hour on a 35 road, even at that point.
We don't have to.
I was so incredibly frustrated. I was watching the person in front of me, pump their brakes, and I was like, you haven't had a drum disc on a car since 1984. Get the fuck out of the left
Since
lane.
at least. Catalytic converters.
Wow, I'm heated.
You know what? It sounds like you're ready for a beer.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's do that. And also, since we're talking about hangovers, question of the day. Oof. This is actually a personal favorite of mine in recent history, question wise. What's your worst hangover in recent history?
Oh,
can you describe
goodness.
It for everyone?
Can I describe it? Whew.
I can think of two very distinct hangovers that I have had within the last 10 years that have just been on another level, debilitating hangover.
Yes, I can think of one that was probably at this point just about 2.5, almost 3 years ago. It was after a wedding.
That's roughly when mine was, right after a wedding.
Yeah, it was right after. I don't think this wasn't the same wedding. That much I know. It wasn't the same wedding. Yeah, it was. It was a rough one for a myriad of reasons, but I will just tell you that it culminated with me weeping to myself in the shower to Neil Young's Harvest Moon, and that was a real sad one. That was a real rough. That was terrible. That was like a
Sometimes you need a good shower weep.
Oh, because no one can see you crying.
I've never had one, but
no?
I feel like you could. Sometimes you could use them.
You know where I learned that from? Ernest. Remember the
Hemingway?
movies? No. Remember the movies like
Oh
Ernest
my God,
Goes to Camp?
yes. Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yep.
One of the best movies of all time.
I don't know why, but I remember that there was a scene where he was like, well, when you cry in the shower, no one can see you cry.
I love that.
And I was like, oh my God, that's so true. And here I am at 32 years old, still holding on to that sad belief.
Those movies were fantastic, by the way.
They were.
I didn't do a great job pouring this.
That's all right.
I was a little heavier on my glass, so I'm going to offer it to you.
All right. Thank you.
I insist.
Please.
And it's not poisoned.
With that being said, regale us with your hangover story.
I can think of two, but I'm going to tell you the more recent one.
Yeah.
It was after our very good friend Jay's wedding.
That was a rough one. That was a very rough one.
And I think it was just like the fact that we started to drink so early in the day. And I just like, the lights went out at one point or another. And I woke up the next morning, pounding headache.
Oh, yeah.
And it was one of those where like, if you bend over, you get the rush to your head. And then it's like, womp, womp, womp. And nausea. I battled nausea for a good 2 hours before the Advil kicked in.
I woke up at a decent hour that morning, and it was one of those like false starts where I was like, oh yeah, we can totally make our way through this. Let's just chug some water real quick. And then as I slowly picked up the pieces of my life, found smudged out cigarettes in my bathroom sink because someone wouldn't let me run a cigarette in their room.
So we're actually going to talk about why that happens.
Oh,
like why
blackouts?
Why you? Well, no. Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, indirectly, yes. But like, why? You said you got an early start, and then as the day went on, you started to feel not as good.
Yeah, it was one of those where I debated about stopping at a diner and thought, if you stop at a diner, you're not going to make it home.
That's how I felt. Yep, on the way home, that's how I felt from Jay's wedding. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh.
A little different.
It is.
A little different.
Do you want to give us a little bit of a background?
I was actually just thinking that we haven't talked enough about this beer.
No.
So it is in double IPA, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's brewed with Azaka and Simcoe and Mosaic, if I'm not mistaken. It should be right on the side of the can. I'm doing this from memory. I'm not going to lie to you.
Mosaic, Simcoe, and Azaka.
And Azaka. Okay. And what are the oats? There's a 2-row.
Yes, it is a pale 2-row oat and carafoam.
Carafoam. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that. Different.
The
different
Simcoe and the
backbone in this
Mosaic
beer
is very nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had the Azaka before.
We only had one recently. It was the Power Juicer.
Oh.
And that was the first time we had it on the show. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a lot of pineapple in the back, but like there's a very interesting like bitter / stone fruity note.
A little. I was gonna say it's got a fruitiness to it that I wasn't expecting. I don't know if it's because of the color. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. I love this sort of very kind of like light gold hue, almost a goldenrod, if you will. This is very interesting.
I feel like there's a melon flavor in here somewhere.
Even just like a honeydew, perhaps.
Yeah.
Something very light melon. It's not a heavy melon.
Right. A light melon.
A light melon.
Good old, hey, heavy melons. Am I right?
If I had $1.
I used to work in produce, so that's my excuse.
Oh, all right. I went cheeky on that one. I went heavy. Tee-hee.
You went topical.
I went topical.
Yeah.
This is interesting. I like it.
I'm perplexed.
It's got a much heavier and thicker mouthfeel as well, despite the fact that there's nothing, I think, terribly indicative of like why that should be.
I wonder if it's because of the 3 different kinds of malt.
Did we establish that it's called Never Have I Ever?
Yes.
We did.
We haven't talked about it.
Oh, we haven't? Wow,
no,
we really
we
shit the bed on the whole beer part of
it's
the
fine.
beer's end.
You know what? Hey, it's Saturday, May 7th.
Do you want to play Never Have I Ever? We can, like, it doesn't have to, it won't be a cheeky one.
It's always cheeky.
It doesn't have to be cheeky. It's not going to be cheeky. My first question is not cheeky.
I don't know if I can think of anything that's not cheeky.
Well, we'll keep things within reason then.
Okay, real quick.
All right.
Go ahead. You go first.
All right. So, never have I ever had a cavity. Oh.
Never have I ever. Ooh, how can I do 2 birds with 1 stone? Indulged in winter sports down a mountain. No? You haven't skied or snowboarded. Okay, we're okay. We're doing fantastic or terrible.
Terrible. Never have I ever. I think you may have done this, but I don't know.
It's actually hurting my fingers.
No, I know. I don't think I've ever done this.
I'm gonna go old school 3. I
don't
know why.
Nice.
I don't know why I was holding.
I feel like my fingers are getting chubbier by the minute. Never have I ever dined and dashed.
Nope.
Wait, no.
Nope.
I'm almost upset.
Man, this is.
Wow, we are not nearly as learned and worldly as we always thought. Like, we've got really interesting stories.
Never have I ever lived in Asbury Park.
Oh, all right. Now we're done.
One.
Now we're done. Now we've ruined it. You see, we're having a great time, and now it's over.
Just call me the penny on the tracks.
Oh, that's sad.
Is it?
I don't know. Doesn't that make like the train jump the tracks?
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole thought?
Yeah.
Oh,
call me the chaos and the in the solace of the moment.
No, yeah, I was just imagining that you're responsible for so many
very
deaths. You've
literal.
got so much blood on your hands.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's not all by the hands of one penny.
That's all it takes. That's all you need. Just one penny.
Yeah.
Huh.
What about this beer though?
It's unique for an IPA.
You know what it is? Maybe it's like an unripe pineapple flavor.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's not terribly front and center either. So It's not something I personally feel like I'm getting bogged down with like searching for necessarily. Nope. And I think that's coming through because of the Simcoe.
Actually, both Simcoe and Mosaic. Sometimes Mosaic has berry flavors, but sometimes it can have a pineapple tone
to it.
Yeah, and I think it does. Man, it's really balanced. You know what? Maybe and that's what it is that's throwing me off so much is because it's so balanced. Like, I don't know if we've ever had an IPA this balanced.
Yeah, because it doesn't have some of that typical... There's the bitterness of an IPA, but it doesn't linger. It doesn't stay on the tongue.
Yeah, it turns into something... I think it turns into like a coconut.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what you're getting to?
I think so. Yeah, definitely more of a tropical...
It is bitter,
fruit.
But it's not too bitter. It's kind of fruity, but not sweet.
Yeah, I like that.
Right.
I like that.
What was the ABV?
You love when we do this in real time, don't you?
Actually, I don't know if it's on here.
11 million.
It definitely, that 100%.
Perfect.
100% of that. We would be dead. In about 2 sips.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, luckily we're going to go over all the cures for a hangover. So
Right. You know, we haven't talked about this can enough.
The can has confused me because I feel like the beer doesn't match the image entirely.
You're entirely right. I 100% agree. But it's like, it looks like a crypt keeper.
It does.
Right? He's got like candles in the background and they're playing with a Ouija board.
Oh,
Him and his buddy are playing with a Ouija board.
That looks like the cover of like a good Goosebumps album, like book.
Yeah, or Tales from the Crypt.
Yep, very 1980s, very 1990s feel to it.
Never have I ever.
I like that.
Good job, Dekker.
I just like belched into the microphone.
I didn't hear it, so I'm gonna pretend like it never happened.
All right.
I don't really know where to rank this. I'm like kind of confused. I'm gonna say 3.65, 3.7.
Interesting. Okay.
I think we need to have another one.
Okay. Until we do, I'm going to go actually higher. I was actually thinking like a 4.41. Like, I'm very impressed by this. I like how it does,
you know what?
Not disintegrate, but dissolves into a softer palate.
Dissipates.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
It is softer.
Yeah.
It you know what? And honestly, it's warming up, and I'm getting
more of the fruits.
more, just like a fuller flavor.
Yeah.
And that sip bumped me up a little bit.
All right.
I'm going to say 3.85.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, this is a really impressive. Well done, Dekker.
I want to know what the ABV is. What do you think? You want to take, we'll do Price is Right rules.
7.2.
Honestly, I was going to say like 8.2.
Oh, okay. Let's see. That's the full percentage off, which is more than enough.
Dekker.
Never have I ever Dekker. I don't Dekker. I don't know her. I never been near her.
So, 8%.
Ooh.
Closest without going over.
Bum, 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 bum.
So there's a little bit of a snippet on Untapped. It is Never Have I Ever, double IPA brewed with bunches and bunches of oats and then hopped with Mosaic, Simcoe, and Azaka. We knew that. Mm-hmm. For some ginormous, and here is what we're supposed to get, orange, mango, peach, lime, and pineapple notes. I would say I definitely get the lime. I definitely get the pineapple. The orange is more like a bitter
Yeah,
orange.
I would say that it's more of a clementine-y.
And the peach, I said stone fruit before. I just really couldn't identify. I get the peach. All right, yeah.
Did they say mango also?
They did.
They did? Yeah, that I don't get very much, though. But that's okay.
Yeah, not so much. Super soft, fluffy body. we can't wait for you guys to try it.
Yeah,
that's
right?
what Dekker said.
That's what Dekker said.
Yeah, we can't. And they gave a 4.09.
Oh, so
or on average,
I was right
the Untapped.
there.
You were right there.
Nice.
I lowballed them a little bit.
What can I say? I influenced the masses before I even realized it. That is the power. The power.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know what they say about absolute power?
It's the greatest thing to have.
Some people probably say that, yeah.
Just before they're dragged through the streets by their people and hanged upside down.
Do you?
I told you that story. So there was a to say that someone like is a bad dancer. You say that they dance like Mussolini because after they finished dragging him through the streets, they hung him upside down.
Oh my God!
And he looked like him and his mistress had looked like they were like ballet dancing. So to say that someone's a bad dancer, you say dance like Mussolini.
That is wild,
right? I think there's a book actually that's called that.
My goodness,
she dances like Mussolini. Yeah.
Do you mind if I kick us off?
No, please do.
I would love to talk about the physiology of a hangover. But first, there's a quote that I found. This dude named William Hickey.
Yeah.
So he was actually a lawyer occupationally, but he's best known for his memoirs. He wrote memoirs about his life. So this particular reference was written in 1768, and here's what it says. And I love this, by the way. My first return of sense or recollection was upon waking in a strange, dismal-looking room, my head aching horridly, pains of a violent nature in every limb, and deadly sickness at the stomach. From the latter, I was in some degree relieved by a very copious vomiting. Getting out of bed, I looked out of the only window in the room, but saw nothing but the backs of old houses, from which various miserable emblems of poverty were displayed. At that moment, I did not believe in the world that there existed a more wretched creature than myself. I passed some moments in a state little short of despair. I love that.
I've never heard something I think more accurate to describe that feeling when you shuffle out
and you're like, what did I have last night?
I'm glad.
Sorry about that, guy.
I'm glad, before we dive in, I'm glad that we're more or less, I believe, at that age to where at the end of the night, and now we obviously don't and can't necessarily drink and spend, the whole, night like we used to. But even at this age, we'll take the time real quick to just tidy up before we go to sleep, because there's nothing more horrific than thinking back to those days when you would walk out into a living room and into the kitchen and it just be littered with
cups,
cans and cups and
plates, pizza boxes.
Oh God.
Floors are sticky.
From what you don't know. There's
you don't
cigarette butts and ash all over the place. Oh, man. We had fun.
I always just think back to the times when we would go downstairs the morning after a night at the PA house, and that basement was always trashed.
I know. I still get in trouble from the 40-year clan.
There's probably still beer in that washing machine.
In the washing machine.
In the wall.
In the wall. That's
everywhere.
what I used to get in trouble for.
So anyway, that little snippet from Hickey's memoir, it wasn't the first mention of something we're all too familiar with, a hangover. In fact, there are mentions of the dreaded state you wouldn't believe.
Is it in the Bible?
Texts from ancient Greece.
Oh, okay.
Ancient Egypt, and even the Old Testament.
There we go.
Spot on.
There we go.
So the physiology of a hangover, we get a lot of hangovers, but interestingly, we don't know a lot about them. Mm-hmm. It's kind of strange. There's a lot of speculation on why we hangover. So a bunch of scientists did get together and study all these effects and duration, but they said that the effects and duration may vary from person to person. It all depends on the body type, what you drank the night before, what was mixed with the alcohol, whether it be water or, sugary stuff or whatever. So innately, there are reasons that this happens to us. We know this. Mostly, there were reasons that I thought. This was never... We never talked about this, but we all know why we get hungover. Anyway, it turns out that hangovers occur due to a litany of factors. I love that word. Here are some of the direct effects that alcohol has on the body. Dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, gastrointestinal disturbances, which is really just a fancy way to say your stomach hurts, low blood sugar, and sleep and biological rhythm disturbances.
Oh, okay.
That last one I wasn't too familiar with.
So biological disturbances, I'm assuming, has to do with your balance and equilibrium.
Kind of.
I'm speculating here. It's far from a doctor.
Balance and equilibrium in hormones and regulators and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to get into it. It's a little dry, but I think you guys will find it interesting. So, of course, alcohol is a diuretic.
Right.
So dehydration 100% makes sense. Alcohol does this by inhibiting the production of a hormone named vasopressin.
Oh.
So essentially it stops this hormone and you just pee all the time.
Breaking the seal.
Right, exactly.
Breaking the seal.
Apparently, this also... excuse me. Oh, so in terms of your stomach, alcohol effects on the stomach directly irritates and it causes inflammation in the stomach and intestines.
Oh, really?
And it also disrupts the normal function of the kidneys and the liver.
Well, that I can attest to.
That'd be kind of new. Blood sugar wise, obviously the presence of alcohol in the body is going to cause a drop in blood sugar.
Oh, a drop.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. After a few days of binge drinking, I found, and minimal to no eating for someone, let's say me or you, it is entirely possible to become hypoglycemic at that point.
Oh, God. Well, I'm surprised that I'm not.
And then this would aid in the hangover symptoms because it's pretty much nausea, excessive thirst, all that stuff. So it's also been proven that alcohol disrupts sleep cycles.
Oh, yeah.
Although alcohol has a sedative effect, like we know, it may promote the onset of sleep. It actually decreases the REM sleep and increases your time spent in deep sleep.
Which makes you more tired.
Correct. And REM sleep is like your recovery mode.
Right.
You don't really get that when you,
consume
alcohol.
Right.
So in addition to this, as BAC falls to zero, so this is what you were kind of talking about, alcohol will decrease the duration of sleep and can even cause insomnia coupled with the hangover. So when you wake up really, really early in the morning, it's because alcohol shortened your sleep cycle. But slowly as your body returns to normal, you kind of, and I'm going to get into it, you go through a little bit of a withdrawal. And that kind of brings on some of those symptoms for more severe cases.
Sense.
Correct.
Oh, God.
So it can cause insomnia.
This is already going to be a very scary episode,
right?
Because I feel like already I'm like, oh my God, I should have known all of this at least 15 years ago.
I feel like we know it, but we just take it for granted because we're not going to not drink.
No. That is quite literally the underpinning of this entire endeavor.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Exactly. So interestingly enough, alcohol causes abnormally low body temperatures while consuming and intoxicated, but abnormally high ones while hungover. Oh. It also, intoxication disrupts the nighttime secretion of the growth hormone, which promotes bone growth and protein synthesis. So it kind of like I said, robs you of that restorative sleep that your body's supposed to have. Alcohol also disrupts the ordinary rise and fall of cortisol levels. So this is kind of why when people consume a lot of alcohol, even if they work out a ton or eat very well, you won't lose weight because you're not burning carbohydrates the right way. Oh. So when you consume alcohol, your body pretty much stops breaking down any other carb you've had stored and immediately starts using the alcohol for energy, which is why if you eat while you are consuming alcohol, you might essentially overindulge because your body doesn't know.
Oh, so it's burning the one carb but storing the other
on top of carbs already stored.
Oh, that's genius
for your body.
I mean, listen,
100%.
I was just listen. If there's one thing I will never let happen, it is me ever get overweight to begin with. So I'm. This is fascinating. So now I can look at other people and be like,
I don't know if it's physically possible for you.
Mentally, I can tell you that it's not, because something upstairs is broken in that regard. I weighed myself at the gym yesterday and I saw the number and I was impressed and horrified all at the same time. I was like,
fair enough.
Well, a 1, a 4, and an 8. All right. That's right, baby.
I think that was my high school weight.
It was kind of my high school weight as well. Actually, no, I wasn't.
No way.
I was lighter than that in high school.
So, this is why we get hungover and drink water.
Do you find now that you've figured out, quote unquote?
Oh, 100%.
Right?
How to beat a hangover?
How to beat it?
Yeah, and I will say I take it from our good friend Dan.
Yeah.
Dan Del Pietro.
Yeah.
Big glass of water and 2 or 3 Advil right before you go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And cleanest morning wake up there is.
I have added in the and that we are not sponsored, hashtag not a sponsor. I add in the liquid IV. I do a little
That's a good one too.
liquid IV in there to build the electrolytes back up.
I found something interesting going through research in this, and there is a supposed cure for hangovers, and it's pears.
Pears?
Yes, but it has to be... Oh, man. Was it a Thai pear?
Didn't write it down?
The study was done with Thai pears.
Yeah.
And that's what the study was done with. So nobody actually knows if it's just Thai pears or if it's all pears. But the way that it was done was that it was almost made into like a tea.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
You tell me first and I'll tell you.
Well, I think that for the sake of science, we need to go ahead and try this out.
Fair enough. That's going to be a TikTok adventure.
I'm actually super excited about this.
Stay tuned for a 30-minute, 10-segment TikTok.
Yes, of you and I getting progressively more and more intoxicated.
And then waking up the next morning and see how hungover we are.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the trick. The pears have to be consumed prior to drinking.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can try that.
We just have to make sure that we do it beforehand.
Okay. Oh, we're going to do science.
For science.
For science.
Yeah.
Oh, that is going to be a good episode.
I'm with it.
And a good piece of material for us. Oh, goodness. I'm going to quickly, if anything, just switch things up. Because this part of the hangover is always the rough stuff.
Okay.
Well, I'll get back into that.
Sure.
Have you heard, however, though, of...
That the bird is the word?
Well, you may
have heard.
That the bird is the word.
The bird is, in fact, the word.
Have you heard of the Hangovers?
I have heard of the Hangovers.
Is
that a band?
Close.
It's not. Okay, then I don't know.
Okay. Very close. It is the men's collegiate a cappella group from Cornell University.
Close.
Very close.
Okay.
So
I'm into it. Let's go.
So they were first founded in 1968, and they are the oldest active a cappella group on campus and a subset of the Cornell University Glee Club, which happens to be the oldest student organization of any kind at Cornell University.
Holy shit.
Right? That's still in existence.
I love that.
So this, this a cappella group is really, I guess, popular, very famous, if you will, and they've performed for a number of like well-to-do audience members. Like they performed for Gerald Ford and Henry Kissinger and Ruth Bader Ginsburg and like big name people.
I just love, I'm sorry to cut you off. I can't stop thinking about a barbershop quartet now.
Oh, I know, right? I kept thinking to myself, I was like, how do we go ahead and work this? Like, welcome to.
I'm not a very good baritone, but if we could find one, we could do it.
If I get really deep.
Whoa.
Beers and
impressive.
Hangovers.
I would love to know Nick's octave range.
It's probably
you're probably on closer to 3.
It might be impressive.
Yeah,
it might also be
close to 3.
Upsetting. But So the name was actually taken, the name of the Hangovers, was actually taken from the term that had been used for fifth-year students in the school's like engineering and architecture programs, because they had to hang over an extra year to actually finish their degrees.
I like that.
And the double meaning is obviously also intentional and is often like incorporated into their concert and album titles. So like every spring, their concert is called Happy Hour, and they've got EPs that have been titled things like Slightly Sober, On the Rocks, and Shot in the Dark.
Love it.
Which is, I think, so much fun. And they've got a couple of quote unquote, I shouldn't say quote unquote. Yeah, well, famous alumni. So one of the guys is Alan Keyes, and I wrote, like music keys.
Yes.
He was the ambassador to the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations.
That sounds very prestigious.
Right? There was Dave Ross. He was an award-winning talk show host of Seattle's KIRO. He had been like, he's still a talk show host, but he had also like been present at the like falling of the Berlin Wall and like reported from like the front lines in Iraq. And,
good for him.
And Michael B. Polk. He's the former CEO of Newell Brands. They're the folks that own and make like Rubbermaid, Coleman, Sharpie, Mr.
Rich.
Coffee.
He's rich as hell.
Oh, all of these folks are. All of these folks are.
You know why? Because they all went to Cornell.
And
is that where it was, Cornell, right?
Yeah, and they're all part of the Hangovers too, I think, which is even better. That's it. Like I said, I just wanted to break it up with a little something light real quick.
Sure. Well, I'm going to take us right back. Well, we're sticking light.
Okay.
And I will admit that this was low-hanging fruit. But I took it anyway.
That's fine.
Took it
Listen.
right off the branch. Took a big bite.
It's got to happen.
Nice.
I shouldn't have done the mouth. I'm sorry. I did the chewing then. I'll fix it in post.
Okay.
I won't.
So we're going. No, we won't. So we're going with it anyway.
Yeah.
Low-hanging fruit. And you won't be upset because I promise that I found some really interesting facts.
Okay.
About the movie The Hangover.
All right.
Yes. The movie premiered in 2009, directed by Todd Phillips, written by John Lucas and Scott Moore. So the movie tells the story of Phil Wennick, Stu Price, Alan Garner, and Doug Billings on their trip to Vegas for a bachelor party to celebrate Doug's upcoming wedding.
Yeah.
You've seen the movie, yes?
In fact, I remember seeing it in the theaters.
Oh, okay. I think I did too. I
don't remember who I was with, but I definitely saw it in the theaters.
It really doesn't matter.
We
at
might
that point. You think we went together?
I mean, we can say that we did.
We definitely did.
Okay.
So the gang heads to Vegas, but Doug notes that he only wants to go for the night, as he's like, it's not really his thing. You know, he's not really into it. He loves his wife. He wants to come back. The wedding's in 2 days.
Okay.
So they head to Vegas. The following morning, they wake up and chaos ensues. As we all know, if you've seen the movie, craziness. So they wake up. Doug is missing a tooth.
Mm-hmm.
No one has any memory of the previous night. No, I'm sorry. Doug is missing. No one has any memory of the previous night's events. Sidebar, I hate that phrase.
What do you mean?
I'm going to tell you. When someone says, and I wrote it down, but I didn't say it. When someone says, and they awoke to find no one was there.
Yeah.
I hate that because it's an oxymoron.
Why?
Because they found no one.
Oh, that's like you better not wake up dead tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
I hate that.
I see. Well, but is found not being used as like uncover? I found out. I learned that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Context. Fair enough. Touche, Messina. Touche. So the morning after Stu is missing a tooth.
I'm glad that we had a beer before we actually started recording.
The suite is absolutely trashed, and there is a tiger in the bathroom and a baby in the closet. So I know.
Ho hum.
Everyone's morning after in Vegas.
You mean that doesn't happen every time? I was just in Vegas with my sister and my parents.
And that did not happen to you?
Every day. Multiple tigers.
Multiple times.
Multiple babies.
So outside the hotel, the crew leaves the hotel. Outside, they see Doug's mattress impaled on a spire on the roof. And they were thinking maybe he jumped out the window, but they quickly kind of pushed that theory aside because, they don't want to think that Alan's dead.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, that Doug is dead. So retracing their steps from the night before and commandeering a police cruiser on the way.
Yes.
They head to a hospital where they come to learn they were roofied, explaining the memory loss. Mm-hmm. And were also seen at a chapel. So then they head back to the chapel. They come to find that Stu married an escort the night before. That's whose baby it is in the closet. And he was in a long-term committed relationship. So obviously this is very taboo because his and as the article put it, domineering fiance.
Oh.
Yeah. So obviously he shouldn't have done that. But he did anyway. Eventually,
what happens in Vegas?
Exactly. They proceed to get attacked by gangsters with whom they are apparently familiar, but they do not recall. They get arrested due to stealing the cop car. After they get arrested and they get out on bail, they get back Alan's father's car, a Mercedes.
Oh, that's right.
And as they start to drive away, they find Leslie Chow, the leader of the gangsters who beat them up in the trunk of their Mercedes.
Oh, that's right.
Come to find out that the tiger in the hotel room was stolen from Mike Tyson. Yes, they did it, and Mike Tyson punched Allen in the face. And finally, a whole bunch of other stuff happens that I will not explain to you because I will not do it any justice. And they eventually find a sunburned, fried up Doug on the roof because that's where he decided he was going to sleep. And they make it to the wedding with just minutes to spare.
Love it. Love it.
Fantastic movie. Go watch it if you haven't.
It is I'm usually not a big fan of some of those.
It's like a stupid comedy.
Yeah,
that's
but
what
there
it
was
is.
something so... I don't know. There was just something about that one where I think it was Galifianakis, to be perfectly honest with you. Right. But such a good movie. Genuinely funny.
So, like I said, it was released in 2009.
Oh, my God.
Okay. June 5th of 2009, to be exact. It went on to be the 10th highest grossing film of 2009. So, pretty good company considering it came out halfway through the year. It grossed $467 million worldwide.
Wow.
And at the time, it became the highest grossing R-rated comedy, surpassing Beverly Hills Cop, which had held the spot for about 25 years.
I don't know why I just got goosebumps, but I don't know why it's not related entirely, but I'm going to say that it is because Beverly Hills Cop is a fucking brilliant.
Oh man, I wish I'd seen it. I need to see that. Chris Farley.
No.
Was that not Chris Farley?
No, you're thinking of Beverly Hills Ninja. Beverly Hills Cop is Eddie Murphy. When he was Axel.
Still didn't see that. Crazy Frog?
Yeah.
Okay. No, okay. I've never seen either of those movies.
So good.
But yes, I did confuse them. So anyway, let's get to the fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So I found some really cool facts about the Hangover trilogy as a whole because there were 3 movies. And I just thought they'd be fun to share with everyone.
Yeah, what do you got?
Okay. So originally, before Zach Galifianakis was given the role, it was offered to Jack Black. Jack Black turned it down, and oddly enough, the Alan character went through a bunch of significant rewrites throughout the pre-production process, and some of the people who were up to play that character were Jake Gyllenhaal, Jonah Hill, and Thomas Hayden Church. I know, it sounds very strange. Yeah, it sounds really strange.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I know, right? Like you just couldn't picture him like that. It'd be weird, yeah. Actually, Paul Rudd turned down the role of Phil before they cast Bradley Cooper.
Oh.
And Seth Rogen was considered to play Stu before Ed Helms was chosen.
So, like, I would love to see the remake with Jack Black.
This cast could have been insanely different, wildly different.
And I think, to everybody's credit, equally as successful.
Oh, 100%.
I think equally as successful.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Zach Galifianakis, we can look back and say we really didn't know who he was before that movie.
I am going to sound like a total, like, snob and like hipster. I did know who he was.
I definitely wasn't familiar.
Oh, I think I had talked about it in another episode. I had watched his stand-up years before.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, I don't know if it was in an episode, but we talked about it.
When he did the gay snake, which was the...
Yes. He is very funny.
So goddamn funny.
He is very funny. Okay, so Warner Brothers, this is another good one, was so confident in The Hangover that the sequel began development months before the first movie was even debuted.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So for their continued involvement, Cooper, Helms, and Galifianakis were all promised percentages of the box office.
Oh, it's so smart. So smart.
In addition to their substantial paychecks.
Right. Oh, that's genius.
Super, super smart. They agreed to a part 3 as long as there would be no part 4.
Okay. You know what? I respect it.
I respect that. All 3 of them said that they didn't want to get roped into endless Hangover sequels for the rest of their careers, especially since like at that time, that was when Bradley Cooper like started to take off, and he did what was that movie with the drug that makes your brain superpowered?
Limitless.
Yeah, he did Limitless and started to like move on to bigger movies.
Okay.
And that's when he was kind of like, I don't want to do this raunchy.
I don't blame him. Listen, the rule of comedy is that it's funny 3 times, and then it's not.
Right.
It's funny, then it's funnier, then it's the funniest, and then it's not funny at all.
And then don't do it ever again. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I talked about Ed Helms' character when he was missing the tooth in the morning after scene, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that that's real? He actually doesn't have that tooth. He has a fake tooth. Yeah, so apparently an adult incisor never grew in his mouth, so he had a fake tooth put in. So for the scene, all he had to do was pop it out.
Do you know that I had a hangover once that resulted in me waking up and realizing that I had chipped my front tooth?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do recall.
Yep. Fell down on a patio. Chipped my tooth.
Oh my God.
Don't remember it.
Right.
Yep.
Did you ever see the second Hangover?
Oh, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
It doesn't, nothing sticks out. I think, was that the one that was in Thailand?
Yeah, in Bangkok. Yep.
Okay. I knew about it, but I didn't see it.
Okay, so in that movie, the morning after scene is, kind of similar. Like they wake up and the room's trashed and they don't know where they are. But instead of Ed Helms' tooth missing, it's Alan and his head is shaved.
Yeah.
Okay, so originally they had wanted it to be his beard, but Zach Galifianakis totally refused.
Yeah.
Yep, and he was more than willing to do the head shaving. So he did that.
I respect that.
Another good thing, or another interesting thing, Ed Helms, obviously he's on The Office. And he's a pretty prominent character on that show. During the third movie, it put a strain on the Office filming. Because he needed to be on location for the third movie.
Yeah.
But at that point, he had grown to be such a prominent character in The Office. So what they did was they got smart and they wrote like an off script. Because I think he's the boss in The Office. Or he's like a manager or something. I don't really watch.
I was going to say I didn't like
Yeah.
Like it after a while, so I
Neither
stopped
do
watching it. Yeah.
So they apparently just like wrote in that he went on vacation.
Oh, okay.
On his family's boat trip.
Oh.
And that's how they like wrote him out of the.
That's smart.
Yeah. I have a couple more, I promise. Carlos the baby, found in the closet in the first film, was played by 3 sets of twins. In fact, Lindsay Lohan was originally to play the escort that.
I thought you were going to say one of the twins. I was like, that is not correct information, sir. I'm going to call you out right now.
I can't remember her name. Who played the escort in the first one?
Oh God,
she's super famous. She was in Austin Powers.
Oh God.
Right? What's her name? Elizabeth?
Not Keira Knightley. Not Elizabeth. Elizabeth Hurley?
No. Heather.
Not Locklear. Heather. Not Graham.
Heather Graham?
Heather Graham?
Is that all right? Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Hold on, bear with us. Because we need to know.
Go ahead and type in one now for Heather Graham.
In fact, Heather Graham.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Good.
So Lindsay Lohan was supposed to play Heather Graham's character in the first movie.
Yeah.
She turned it down because she thought the movie was going to be a bomb.
Oh.
Turned out she was totally wrong.
Well, I mean, it was also Lindsay Lohan 2009. Glad she bounced back.
Correct.
But like, girl was crazy.
Apparently, there was supposed to be a Liam Neeson camo in the movie. In the second movie.
Yeah.
It got cut. Kind of weird thing that happened. The director. All right, so Mel Gibson was supposed to play the camo originally. But then all that stuff started to happen because it was 2009.
Oh, right.
Right, so they pulled him.
Good.
And they brought in Liam Neeson. So they filmed the scene. Liam Neeson goes to film Wrath of the Titans.
Yeah.
For some reason, the director of the second Hangover wanted to reshoot the scene, but Liam Neeson couldn't come. So instead, they got someone else to do it. So that's why they cut it. Huh. And then, finally, and this is my favorite one, Mike Tyson admitted to being high on cocaine.
Yes.
While filming The Hangover.
Yes.
It is said that he admitted that he only took the job to pay for his drug habit, and he would routinely be high while on set. He does go on to say, however, that working the movie made him rethink his life, and he did decide to make some changes.
I don't think I'm going to do cocaine no more.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I swear my last little tidbit, Mike Tyson does in fact own a tiger.
Yes, he does.
In real life.
Yes, he does.
The only difference is that he owns 7 of them.
Oh. My God. What stupid money.
Yeah.
We were having such a good time
much.
too, and now I learned that Mike Tyson, you know what?
Pretty much.
I guess he also, got his brain turned to mush to pay for it. So,
What's it called? CTE, right?
Something like that, yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was long-winded, but worth it.
No. Good stuff, though. I like that a lot. I'm going to bring us back then to Hangovers and the rough ones. meaning the real ones. So again, as you had already noted, again, that it's not very well understood by the medical community. And again, there's really no conclusive way, again, of treating or preventing them entirely. So according to a 2005 British Medical Journal article, quote, no compelling evidence exists to suggest that any conventional or complementary intervention is effective for preventing or treating alcohol hangover. The most effective way to avoid the symptoms of alcohol-induced hangover is to avoid drinking. However, there are a number of different remedies that are suggested. We discussed a couple of them before. And there are a couple of classic examples from what I have referred to as history's greatest booze bags. So as you were talking about, there's evidence of this kind of going back at least to Roman
Egypt,
times.
Greece, yep.
So Pliny the Elder had suggested consuming 2 raw owl's eggs neat. Specifically, they had to be neat. Or eating fried canary. That was another one.
Oh, that actually sounds slightly appetizing.
So W.C. Fields, the paper guy,
yeah,
he had suggested a martini made of 1 part vermouth, 4 parts gin, and 1 olive to be taken round the clock.
Oh yeah, that'll cure you.
So obviously a little
stay drunk, you don't get hungover.
Exactly, a little tongue in cheek there.
I'm with that.
Now, have you ever heard of something called the prairie oyster? Which, again, sounds
no, but that's
cheeky.
Definitely a bull testicle.
No, it's not, actually.
Not? Oh, okay.
It's not.
I'm surprised.
No, but I don't know what you're thinking. Oh, you're thinking of something oyster.
Yeah, Rocky Mountain Oyster.
Rocky Mountain Oyster. Yep, that's what you're thinking of. The prairie oyster, however, which good on you for
Thank you.
pulling that out real quick, because it was actually introduced at the 1878 Paris World Exposition, and it calls for the mixture of raw egg yolk to be mixed with Worcestershire sauce, Tabasco sauce, salt, and pepper.
Oh, I didn't know that was called that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's an all down. Right
I have heard of that.
Yeah?
Concoction, yes.
Okay.
One more time. What was it? 2 raw egg yolks.
Oh, no, just one. Well, it just says raw egg yolk in general.
Okay. All right.
Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah.
Tabasco sauce, salt, pepper.
I mean, throw some vodka and tomato juice in there and you got yourself a Bloody Mary.
We're going to get to the Bloody Mary in just a moment, in fact. But before then,
Tip your waitresses.
Tip your waitresses. Or your waiters. Just tip, dicks.
We're non-binary. I don't know if that was right. People say that.
It's fine. That works, I think. I think if they were non-binary, we would just say server. Yeah.
Fair.
Well, now that we've insulted that whole population...
please stay here and listen.
Please stay here. So in 1938, and this is a strange one here, the Ritz-Carlton began serving their version of
hangover cure?
A hangover cure. Would you like to just take a guess at what it's only 2 liquids that are mixed together. 2 liquids you I don't know. I would never want
tomato juice.
No.
Not one of them. Okay.
No.
Is it a fruit?
No.
It's not.
Neither one is a fruit.
A vegetable?
Nope. Neither one is a vegetable.
I'm afraid to juice anything else.
Oh, it's nothing juiced.
Oh, okay.
It's 2 existing liquids.
Just 2. Okay. Milk.
Mm-hmm. That's one of them.
And oil.
Very close. Milk and Coca-Cola.
Ugh.
They would mix together Coke and milk, and they used to present that as a hangover.
No, thank you.
As a hangover cure. But my favorite, undoubtedly, and I forgot that I wrote down my favorite, is the Bloody Mary. I love
classic
Bloody Marys.
You know what I really love, and it's over the top, I will admit. But like when it comes out with like a slider.
Oh, and that's
a jumbo shrimp.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I look forward to.
Bacon.
Can't go wrong with it.
Yeah.
A traditional Bloody Mary, however, is vodka, tomato juice, Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce, horseradish, celery salt, lemon juice, and garlic.
Yum.
So good.
So good.
I used to work at a place. They sell something that's called liquid smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we used to put a little liquid smoke in there, too.
Hell yeah.
Phenomenal.
Into it. Barbecue in a glass.
So what's kind of interesting is the origin of the Bloody Mary. So it was claimed to have first been invented by a guy by the name of Fernand Petois in 1921. He was working at a place called the New York Bar, which is in Paris. It's now called Harry's New York Bar, but it was a popular place for. Have you heard of this before?
Wow, that's been around that long.
Yeah.
Holy God!
It's a new one. Or
it's a really famous
Harry's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a popular place for American tourists, including, and you actually mentioned him before, Ernest Hemingway, who had claimed that he would drink tomato juice and beer as his cure as his cure for hangovers. This place was also famous because it was spoke of because it always has got to come back to James Bond. It was spoke of in From A View to Kill. So apparently Bond had visited Harry's during his first trip to Paris when he was 16, which, quote, had started one of the most memorable evenings of his life, culminating in the loss, almost simultaneously, of his virginity and note case. So evidently a young James Bond was getting liquored up and banging.
16.
At 16. Good for him. And every year, and this is kind of interesting, or every election year, here in the U.S., like major presidential election year, they conduct a straw poll with customers at Harry's. So you have to prove that you're an American citizen first. Like, you have to show that you can legally vote in the United States, and then cast, who you think is going to win. And the results that Harry's has garnered have been accurate for every presidential election since 1924, except for 1976, 2004, and 2016.
So, essentially, whoever is the majority vote at Harry's,
correct,
goes on to win.
Yep, it mirrors directly.
Okay.
So one of the things that had also kind of popped up here is the name origin, because a Bloody Mary. So it's typically associated with Queen Mary I of England, who was nicknamed Bloody Mary in a book called Fox's Book of Martyrs. It's an older book. Queen Mary slaughtered a whole shit ton of people. This is back when England was going back between Catholic, Protestant, Shut up, right? However, according to at least the tradition at Harry's, the name came from a patron who had claimed it looked like my girlfriend who I met in a cabaret. And the cabaret's name was evidently, which is a terrible name for a cabaret, Bucket of Blood.
Oh my God.
I know. While the girlfriend's name was Mary. It may have also come from the mispronunciation of Slav syllables, so Slavic syllables, for a similar drink called the Vladimir in English. Now, some credibility can be led here, as the customer who first asked for the drink from Petois was allegedly Vladimir Smirnov of the Smirnov vodka family, who had a girlfriend at the time whose name was Mary and had worked as a cabaret dancer. What? So that's where they're thinking that the whole name of the Bloody Mary comes from.
That's wild.
Would love a Bloody Mary right about now too.
That sounds phenomenal.
I fucking love.
Maybe we can do that right after we sign off with these clowns.
Should we invite them along?
I mean, it seems like it would take a long time for them to get here.
Oh, that's right.
How would we even know who's coming? How much vodka am I supposed to buy?
More than you need.
How many tomatoes do I need to juice?
Oh, that's right. Oh, we got to get the good tomato juice too.
We're gonna do it like we would make wine in a bucket.
In a bucket,
shoes off.
That's what we're doing
right,
here.
This takes time. We'll invite them next time.
Bring bacon. Bring celery, and bring your friends. Right. We'll be back.
Sounds reasonable.
We'll be back.
Pretty soon, probably.
Much sooner than you might think. So if you're afraid you're going to miss us, click subscribe or like or leave a comment or, any of those things would be nice.
Slushy Nation.
Slushy Nation. Goodbye.